that. Obviously, we're talking a lot about the Eagles and the 49ers and getting you set and kind of looking ahead to that game on Sunday for sure. And Gunnar, I looked at the line right before we came on today just to kind of see if there was any kind of movement. It stayed pretty firm. Eagles are still 2.5-point favorites. Now that Cincinnati line has dipped to 1 where it was 2.5, which makes me believe Vegas feels like Mahomes likely to go is what I would guess.
Exactly.
Yeah. Reading into that one.
They know something we don't know. See, when that line moved like that, I mean, that's a pick 'em game, to be honest. I mean, I understand Cincinnati's beat them 3 in a row. They don't, KC doesn't have Tariq to open things up anymore, but they still found a way to win 14 games with the revamped set of wide receivers. Mahomes is still, I'm telling you, when he stepped up in the pocket and threw that second half touchdown, I'm like, how hurt is this dude? Because he limped off the field again after, but here's something interesting. Patrick Mahomes led the NFL this season with pass plays outside of the pocket with 117. In the second half of that game this past Sunday, he was 1 of 2. So he only threw 2 passes outside of the pocket. He kept everything in the pocket this second half of this game. And so that offensive line still did an incredible job of protecting him to give him a chance to throw. And that offensive line is not a great offensive line, but, man, they did an incredible job keeping the heat off him to let him throw.
Yeah, good point. Good point. All right, let's dig into this, Barrett. Let's dig into the matchups here. And there are some good ones. There's no question about that in this game. I want to start with this one. I want to start with the offensive side for the Eagles. And we're going to get to what you do with Bosa in a little bit. But the Eagles certainly can run the ball, and they ripped off 268 yards last week against the Giants. For the season, the Eagles were the 5th best running team in football, 147.6. They averaged 4.6 yards per carry, right? Niners were the 2nd best team in football against the run, allowing only 77.7 yards per game, 2nd most in the NFL, 3.4 per carry. So, do you think the Eagles can run on them, Barrett? And do you think that they will stay committed to it in this game, which is always a big question with the Eagles?
The Eagles have never had a problem running on anybody. It's just whether they're going to do it or not. And that's there lies the problem. Once Shane Steichen, commits to what he wants to do and run the ball, there's no team that could stop it. I mean, for 2 years in a row, besides this year, the Saints have had the best run defense in the league, bar none. And they ran for over 200 yards on both times against that team. They can run the pill. They got the best offensive line in the NFL. So I think we sometimes forget how good this offensive line is, which dictates how good you run the ball. It's all about whether they want to do it or not. Now, Shane's going to see how much success everybody's having throwing the ball against the secondary of this team. But the thing is, you got to be able to block Bosa. They can block Bosa, so they'll be able to throw the ball consistently. But running a rock is what we need to do. And every time I talk about running a rock, everybody brings up, they got Fred Warner, the best tackler in the world. I get it. He is good. But damn it, we got the best center in the world who can block the best tackler in the world, which is Fred Warner. We specialize in our schemes at getting up on the second level and blocking linebackers. We have a patient running back that picks his holes and then explodes through them. His patience in running the ball. Miles Sanders is one of the best backs in the league. He doesn't even really get the opportunity that other backs get. He's an explosive player. He's a game changer. And when we get him going, that's when our offense gets going. So what do we need to do? Run the ball in between the tackles. Don't run to the outside. Don't allow those DBs, the safeties to go up there and make a play, because they do have one hell of a good safety, man. And like I said, Hufanga reminds me a lot. He trains a lot with Troy Polamalu. Runs me a lot of him. But don't try to outfox yourself, out coach. Just go out there and just dictate tempo by running the ball inside. If you try to run away from them, they're fast, they're quick, they'll get you. But if you run right at them, you can get past them then, because this offensive line is good enough to blow them off the ball, stop penetration, get up on the second level, and next thing you know, we got 200 yards against the best defense and stopping the run. Mm-hmm. It's plain and simple how they just run right at them. Can you imagine Bosa lined up over Lane or lined up over God, forsake him trying to stop Jordan Mailata coming off the ball and hitting him in the mouth? You know what I'm saying? Mm. There's no way he can hold up against a 380-pound dude that's 6'8". I know he's strong, but he's not that daggone strong. Mm. Just run right at them. Put it right up through and just run and pick your holes and get through there. Dickerson's one of the best guards in the league. Use him. Run in between the tackles. Don't try to run sideline to sideline. Run straight at them. Run draw plays. We call them run gap schemes where you double team the front side, pull the back side. Do things like that in which you could use your athletic talent on their guys. And next thing you know, they start getting up a little slower. That pass rush isn't coming off as good as it would. And I hope it is cold. I think it's supposed to be like 45 degrees. The weather's not going to dictate anything.
Yeah.
Still, run the rock on them. Get this crowd going because
it's going to be warm, actually. 49 is the high on Sunday.
Yeah. So, but get the crowd into it. The crowd loves when you run the rock on them.
Okay.
Pound the rock, bro.
All right. So do you think they'll use Warner as a spy on Jalen? If that's the case, how much does that open up for Goddard or maybe a back out of the backfield if they use him as a spy on Jalen?
That's perfect, because if they use it for a spy, I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't know. It's always a mismatch when you get a linebacker on Jalen Hurts. It's always a mismatch because he's faster than what you think. He's more elusive than what you think. Yes, Francis Warner's the best tackling linebacker in the league, but we have the best running quarterback in the league. He's thick, he's strong, 600-pound bench. It's not going to just be a cakewalk. He can run, man. So I think they will do that, which will open up the interior of the defense. Now Dallas Goedert hanging around the middle. A name we haven't talked about a lot, but could have a major impact on this game is actually what's his name? Pascal.
Zach Pascal, because of his blocking ability?
His blocking ability, and they're going to see him as a blocker. Next thing you know, the middle of the field, he just sits down on a little route right over the quarterback, hits him right there, boom. That's 5 yards there, boom, 10 yards there. Run the pill up the middle, then turn around, boom, Dallas Goedert on the outside. These guys complement each other very, very well because both of them are really good blockers, but they're also very, very good in catching the ball with their hands. Pascal is not one of those guys, you have to worry about him tipping the ball or not catching the ball. He's going to catch the rock because he gets few and far in between opportunities. We all know that if you got, Hufanga's a good safety, but one-on-one against Dallas Goedert, he just can't, he can't do it, man, because he's bigger, stronger, and just as fast as he is. So, that'll be a great matchup in the middle of the field going to him.
All right, this is the biggie, and Gunner, jump into here. Nick Bosa, 18.5 sacks. We know he can be a game wrecker. All right. What do you do to not let him be a game wrecker? What do you do to calm him? Is it as simple as Lane, go do your thing, or do you get Lane some help considering he's a little bit banged up? What do you do, and will they move him around, or is he strictly a one-side guy?
I think he's just going to be a one-side guy, and he's going to be lined up over Bosa. Bosa's going to be lined up over Lane Johnson for most, because right now Bosa's the guy that they would say is a little more frail than Jordan Mailata. Yeah. So they'll give him an opportunity to rush him the most. What you do, you run the rock, pound him, and then all of a sudden go over their head and play action. We all know that they can't cover on the outside. They're not good enough to cover our receivers on the outside. Devontae Smith is going to have a field day. A.J. Brown is going to have a field day against their secondary, but you got to give Jalen a little time. And how do you do that? You run play action. You make that defense appear as though you're running, and just that slight second, and that forces them to read it and then go, is all you need to get up on them and start blocking them. Then you got those guys over the outside that could just really, really have a great day catching the rock, and especially with slants, slant and go, sluggo routes, combination routes on the outside. It'll be big for them. So, of course, I'm saying run the rock, but they looking at the secondary and be like, man, we can take advantage of these secondary guys. We can beat them all day long. In fact, if you look at statistically, I think they have more plays of 20 yards or more than probably half the league allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Half the league.
Their secondary gets beat. I mean, their
time.
Yeah, their secondary is not great. They where did I have this? I have this somewhere in my notes. So
I know you would.
Okay, they've allowed 7 100-yard receiving games on the season. So they it's not like, receivers haven't taken advantage of this.
Right.
If you get time, the key is getting time. If you don't let Bosa wreck everything and you let your quarterback get a little bit of time, you could beat the secondary. The secondary is not great.
Easy. CeeDee Lamb could have feasted against them if that rookie wasn't as bad as he was for Dallas.
Yeah.
He could have feasted on him.
What do you think, Gunner?
Plain and simple, you got to punch him in the mouth between the tackles, because I agree with Barrett. I believe Bosa is going to stay on one side, but which side will that be? I'm not comfortable if they go pass heavy more than run happy. I'm not comfortable with Bosa lining up on Mailata. I think, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think Mailata, as well as a few other guys, are better run blockers than setting up a pass block. Mailata's been too inconsistent in terms of the pass blocking this year, and I don't want that to rear its ugly head in this particular game. And I don't want to have them have chip somebody to take another player out of the offensive flow, whether it's Pascal, whether it's Miles Sanders in the backfield. I don't want to have somebody to help Mailata on that left side because he can't handle Bosa by himself if they start passing the ball up and down the field like they did a couple of games. They came out throwing the football instead of running it. Establish that run. Make them think that it's going to be a long day. You're going to get punched in the mouth. By the second quarter, you're going to see a lot of 49ers with their hands on their knees sucking for air because they can't stop the run. The Eagles are ripping off 5-6 yards to carry. Don't play into their hands. Don't give them any momentum. I think this is the one team in the NFL, they're like the Eagles. They don't care when they play, how they play, who they play. Crowd doesn't bother them. They're going to play their game no matter what, okay? The way to demoralize that team is to let them know you cannot stop us in any way, shape, or form. No matter what tricks you try, no matter what stunts, loops, whatever you want to try, you cannot stop us. That's the best way to demoralize that team. Some teams play in hostile environments. They can't handle the crowd. I don't think that's the case with this Niners team. If he stays on the side with Lane Johnson, even though Lane is hurt, I still think that's an advantage for the Eagles because Lane can still handle him one-on-one 85% maximum effort, okay? But if DeMeco Ryans gets smart and starts trying to test where's the weak link in the picket fence and find out that Mailata's that weak link on the other side and they start throwing the ball and disrupting the pass, that's not good. That's not a good MO for them to go into this game with.
Okay. All right.
I'm trying to figure out what Niners all day. What do you mean? 21st ranked defense, bro.
Who's the 21st ranked defense?
It's not the Eagles.
Yeah, they're like number 2. I know they're top 5.
Yeah,
also, this is a physical team they're playing the 49ers. I understand that. But just like Tyson says, everyone has a plan till they get punched in the mouth.
That's right.
Will they be able to come back once they get punched in the mouth? There lies the problem. Can they weather the storm? Because it's not just like we're just going to punch them in the mouth and stop. We're going to keep going and pounding relentlessly, just pounding and pounding and pounding. This is going to be a war of wills.
Yeah.
And the quarterback position is the most important position on the field. And we have the better at that position.
Yeah. And that is certainly a big deal. There is no question.
No question.
That. Yeah. Look, there's a lot. He said that's why I corrected myself, but you guys can't read. So now he's going to be insulting. And
what is that?
We can't read, et cetera. So how about you actually make sense when you put your comment up there the first time, dude? How about that? How about we do that? Yeah, they're 21st against the run, but if you're just talking about generally where this defense is, it's one of the better in terms of points allowed, yards allowed against the pass, et cetera.
Right.
That look, really what it's going to come down, and we haven't even gotten to the defensive side. We were talking about what the Eagles offense is going to do against the Niners defense. Maybe he has trouble comprehending that. I would assume he does, looking at the way he tries to express himself. But
who's that?
The Niners clown.
So see, I wish Xander had a way to block certain people out from our chat a lot of times.
No, don't block them. I said keep that energy. I love it. Keep
no.
energy,
It's
man.
okay to have it's okay to have heated discussions, but when you take it to the next level like that, man, see why? It's good conversation, arguments in sports is good. It's healthy. It's all right. But you don't have to take it to the gutter. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's my thing is you don't need to be insulting. Like you can disagree.
No, exactly.
And we'll all fine. We'll disagree on things.
Yeah.
But
no, don't take them out of the chat though.
No, just
Man,
you don't need to be insulting.
Look,
Obviously, we don't get racial. We don't get all that stuff. Anyway, I'm with you. This is where I get back to what I was talking about with the Giants game, and I kept thinking, really, if this comes down to in any way, shape, or form, as a lot of games do, the quarterback position. Purdy's been a nice story, but I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I all day I would take Jalen Hurts. All day in that situation, I would take Jalen Hurts to lead the Eagles. And the beauty is his ability to get out of jams where you think you have him wrapped up. If it was a stationary quarterback, let's put it that way. He has the ability to get out of there and make plays. And that to me is going to be a key. Like there are going to be a couple times in that game where you're going to think, oh my God, Bosa or somebody else has him wrapped up. And how did he get out of that? How did he pull the Houdini routine? And he's going to rip off 7-8 yards to move the chains or something like that, or buy enough time to make a pass. Like this is the difference. Like Purdy, to me, got fortunate last week that the Cowboys dropped a couple. And, again, he's a poised kid for sure. But I think that this could be the game with this crowd going on the road, going to the East Coast for the first time this year, where he starts to make some mistakes. I truly believe that. And he's going against, in his defense, he's taking on the best pass rush there is.
Yep.
They have to they got to get this dude to the ground, man. You cannot let Brock Purdy stand around there like Fran Tarkenton, running around all day like he does sometimes until somebody frees himself up. He's very good at buying time for a rookie. There's a lot of things that are impressive about him, and we keep putting the rookie moniker on him because he is. But in a lot of ways, he does not play like a rookie.
I agree with you. He's very poised. He is.
Yeah, part of his game is being able to buy time, and he's very good at avoid. Just when you think you got him down, he's pirouetting this way and then he turns back this way. So the Eagles, you've got to get him on the ground. Do not allow that dude to stand back there and pat that ball. And he loves to take on his play action. He loves to take those deep seven-step rollouts, to buy himself some time. So those are two aspects of this young man's game. You Eagles have got to keep him in the pocket, and you've got to get him on the ground in a hurry.
I agree with you. Look, totally agree with you. And we haven't really seen him make the rookie kind of mistakes, and we'll see if at some point. Keep in mind, a rookie quarterback's never won a Super Bowl.
No,
it hasn't happened.
No.
So the question is, can he get to that next? Get past this game is going to be a
moment too big for him.
All right, let's go to the other side now, Barrett. Let's go Eagles defensive line against the Niners offensive line. And we know they have Trent Williams, who's
all world.
Look, he's in any discussion we're having about the best offensive lineman to play the last 10 years, right? I think we'd all agree on that. The guy's a beast. You get beyond that, and it's just There's a lot of there with the rest of that offensive line. So how much can this Eagles defensive line eat here against everybody else, maybe aside from Trent Williams?
Bro, at this point, I'm looking at their line. Aaron Banks is average at best. He's an average guard. Trent Williams is all world. He can play. You know what I'm saying? But he's not like Lane Johnson. Like Lane Johnson hasn't given up a sack in 2 years. Trent gave up a couple this year. But he's still a really good player.
Right.
It's all on on the right side, man. I mean, you got a rookie starting in Buford at right guard. And that's going against Lane and Ndamukong Suh. You know what I'm saying? Hargraves, Williams. I mean, this is going to be a long day for that kid, and I already know. Oh, my goodness. Can you imagine our best pass rusher, Hassan Reddick, going against Philadelphia's own Mike McGlinchey? Yes, you went to Notre Dame. You're 6'8", just like our 6'8" guy. But you're not as tough as you blocking and getting pummeled.
Mm-hmm.
Pummeled by everybody you go against. I have players that I played with. My boy Justin Swift played tight end in the league. He played tight end with me in Kansas State. Played in the league for probably 10 years. He literally, on every radio show he gets, why are we starting Mike McGlinchey? He gets his butt whooped every single day. I don't know. I mean, he's not as soft as drugstore cotton. That's not me just saying. I'm just going by what I'm looking, what I'm seeing. Just watch the film on it. Watch the film. I'm not saying anything other than what I see on film. When I watch him on tape, he's just like, he's just like a hot knife on melted butter. You know what I'm saying? It just cars right through it.
Yeah.
Hassan Reddick may have 3 sacks in the first half.
Well, and that's the beauty. It doesn't just have to be Hassan. I mean, they get 3 other guys who got double-digit sacks.
And I just told you about the interior guys. They're not that good either. They're okay.
Yeah. I mean, this could be a day where the older cats have a feast day. You could have Linval Joseph and Sue, in addition to Fletcher and Javon Hargrave making an impact, but it could be the other guys. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? There's one pass guy that, that there's certain pass rush that rush in certain ways that hurt taller offensive linemen. And when you look at Trent Williams, he doesn't bend like he used to bend.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a problem blocking guys. Like he would have a problem blocking a guy like BG. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because
BG's compact, low, plays a lot of lean, and can turn the corner, has great ankle bend. He can turn the corner. So he had problems like I have a problem blocking Hugh Douglas. Hugh Douglas is just compact. You know what I'm saying? He can turn the corner and still keep going and be able to do that. That's exactly the way BG rushes.
Mm-hmm.
So mark my words, BG may get him one against Trent. You know what I'm saying? He may get him one against Trent because that's the worst guy to try to block. A guy that plays with leverage, explosiveness, but can finish a pass rushing move low to the ground, going around the corner with great ankle bend.
Yeah.
It's tough.
See, I want to see if McGlinchey can get out of his stance before Reddick gets past him.
Right.
See, I don't know if McGlinchey can get up out of his stance. By the time he sets, you know what? Reddick's already on his shoulder, outside shoulder or inside shoulder, depending on what move he wants to use on him. And, I haven't watched McGlinchey close enough. I have to go by what Barrett says, but the few times I've seen him, he seems
I wish I could put it on now.
He seems a bit stiff.
Don't say seems. He's stiff.
In a guy with a good array of moves can get around him all day.
And that's exactly what Hassan Reddick has done. He is opened up the toolbox.
Yep. Inside moves, outside moves.
I look at him now, man, and it's crazy how his rushes, the way he rushes the passer now is so different from when I watched him in Arizona and when I watched him in Carolina. I mean, he's got spin move, inside move. He got rip. He got speed to power. Yeah. He has finishing moves. He's always tomahawking the ball, out of the quarterback's hands. He's at that level now where you got to consider him one of the best pass rushers in the league.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, it is going to be fascinating. Hey, let me give you this update. So Nick Sirianni today said that at least in some capacity, Avonte Maddox will practice, and that A.J. Brown is going to practice. We know he was a little bit banged up in the last game, so that's good news. Andy Reid in Kansas City said that at least to some degree, Mahomes is going to practice. And they're going to see how it goes. So I'm just trying to update everybody on what's going on here.
Yeah, Reid just came out and said also that he went through the walkthrough and he expects him to do everything in practice today.
Mm-hmm.
So everything in practice, interesting.
That's exciting, man. Yeah, that's good news. That is good news for them. It's good news for the Eagles as far as Avonte goes. I mean, can you imagine if he could play this week, and you can move CJ GJ back to safety? Just what that's going to do, and how much that's going to help you defending, which we're going to get into in a second. Kittle and McCaffrey and some of those guys that you like to use over the middle. It's going to be enormous. Let's hold that thought. Let's dig into that when we come back. We'll get into what the Eagles defense can do as far as that goes, dealing with those guys, because that is going to be a real challenge. That's for sure. All right, don't go anywhere. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Right now, I want to tell you about the great folks at Pro Action Restoration. All right, if you got a home, you got a business, you got a property that you own, unfortunately, these kind of things happen sometimes. You get water damage, you get fire, you get smoke, you get mold damage. Any of those things are a possibility for sure, right? But who do you call is the question. Well, you call Pro Action Restoration because they're on call 24 hours, 7 days a week to assist. I could tell you personally, it happened to me at my parents' house. They didn't know what to do. Their basement was flooded. Water just kept coming in. We're trying to shop vac it. It was a disaster. I called them. Pro Action Restoration got right over there. They cleaned up the problem. They fixed it. The crew was professional. The price was right. It was an excellent, excellent experience, all things considered. They're licensed, bonded, fully insured. They've been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades. Pro Action Restoration will work in conjunction with your insurance company. And again, I'll tell you, it's water, fire, smoke, mold remediation, but it could be something else that you're not sure about. Just give them a call and they will be there. Or you just get a consult from them. 610-623-3760. 610-623-3760 or online at proactionrestoration.com. That's proactionrestoration.com.